Hi, I'm David Cooper from ePianos and Whitney Bay Organs. We're so pleased to have Martin Harris from Yamaha. He's one of the head design team. What would you call yourself?
Well, I'm actually in charge of R&D Centre London. So I'm basically in charge of all of the research and development in Europe, including all the development, and we pretty well much develop everything that you hear from the product. So all the sounds, the styles, Audi pads, demos. So anything that's kind of the musical aspect is something that we do at R&D Centre in London.
Well, I have to say that as a business, we're so grateful to you, and as an instrument, we're so in awe of how much it does and how capable it is, and also from the way that you've managed to keep this beautiful set of buttons in a similar way for the last few years, and that means all of us that are moving up through the range, it's just so familiar to us, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't like to change anything too much. I mean, even when you go from Tyros 5 to Genos, we keep the main playable buttons kind of in the same way. They look similar, the layout's very similar, because it is a live play instrument. I think that's a really important point.
Yes, and people who are moving up, they kind of know where they're going to flick over to for the brake button or the fill-in button or the ending button. It's kind of still there, which makes it so easy to move up from a PSR or a Tyros or a Genos one, because you've kept it the same. And I think that
we thought about putting everything into the screen,
really,
to have a kind of Tesla keyboard. But it, honestly speaking, for playing, for people who are out on stage gigging, and there are quite a lot of people who use these professionally, you need buttons. You need buttons to press.
Yeah, I agree.
To switch things on and off, especially when you want to quickly grab, a right to or different fill. You doing that in the screen would become much more, I think, complicated.
Yeah, I think you've got it spot on, because there are enough buttons to be able to manually control it while you're playing, and you can go into the screen, but it's not it's not just coding buttons, which is what perhaps some of the earlier models might have had. So I think you've done it very, very well. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the ways that the sounds have been sampled, because I know that some people model sounds and you sample them, but you also go in and add effects and you sample them in quite a special way to make them so accurate.
Well, yeah, I mean, in here we have two engines. We have FM and we have AWM. AWM is the sampling engine, and that is really the realism in the sound. And so we record. So if it's a piano, we record a piano, and it is in this case, a CFX concert grand. So we will put a CFX concert grand in the studio, and we will put several mics on it, not just one, but we'll have different positions, different distances. There'll be different positions of, if you're playing or if you're in an audience. And then we will once we have the samples, we will then mix it and get the right microphone kind of combination to get the right sound that we want. There's lots of layers as well. So, you're recording every single note, but then you're recording layers. And, we probably end up here with a CFX concertgram, I think it's 7 layers, which means 7 different dynamic layers of sound in one note. So you have a fortissimo, which is a very hard sound, okay? So it's a different sample. So there's a different sample on every note.
And there's 7 different...
And there's 7 different layers, yes. Yeah. So from pianissimo right through to fortissimo, and the stages in between. And they're very, very cleverly voiced, so you don't hear that.
No, you never did. I agree. It is absolute seniors, yeah.
So that's the point. So it's a real recording, and we do that with every single instrument that you see in the product, and everything is produced by Yamaha.
And this is a Yamaha. The CFX is the top of the range.
Yes, Yamaha. So it really is beauty grand. And also with the Revelation reverb. So, it's not just the sample, but also the effect, the DSP, that you put on the sound, which is equally important. That's going to make quite a significant difference. And in this case, we have the Revelation reverb, and it's just adding the tail end of the sound. And so for anyone who doesn't really know what DSP is, it's what happens here. The reverb is what happens when I actually take my hands off the keyboard. So that's a very bad note.
It's a lot of ambience there.
So there are lots of effects on there. No, on this particular instrument, it's just the piano sound and the reverb. But in other sounds you'll put, distortions. So we have a whole bunch of distortions and amps in, guitars and ePianos and such things.
ePianos, I like the ePianos mentioned that.
Yes.
That's being our late.
Yes. So ePianos, things like, your suitcase and your old wordy pianos.
Yeah.
So they quite often have a kind of amp sound on them to give them a dirtier kind of vibe.
Yeah. And the touch can make that difference too, can't it?
Yes, so we very much match the touch and the sound. That's a really important part here. That's what makes these instruments so magical to play. So it's not just about the sound quality, but it's how that sound plays on the keyboard.
Yeah.
So we very meticulously match the timbre and the touch level. And we produce real grand pianos. So we can actually get that pretty accurately.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pianos to choose from, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, we have the grand piano here, which is a typical classical sound, but you can obviously play anything with that, It's kind of very beautiful. It's a perfect piano sound.
Yeah.
But then you could go to the character grand, and it's a little bit more rock and roll, And the unisons are just a little bit. So that's intentionally slightly out to give it a little bit more of a played-in sound. So it's more rock and roll, more jazz, and then we have felt pianos and upright pianos. U1s, U3s, so they're Yamaha pianos. This isn't. This is another manufacturer's piano. That which is no longer making pianos. So at least that's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we found an old piano in a studio in Germany, and it was just perfect for what we wanted. It had the right amount of character.
Yeah.
To give us that sound field.
So you do travel quite a long way to get the samples that you want.
We travel all over the world, literally. So we will go to the right place to find the right musician and the right studio, the right mixing engineers. So, we've been to Brazil for percussion instruments. We've been to, Africa for African instruments. We've been to, we go to Madrid for the flamenco guitar. We really do. I've been to several sampling sessions in the Middle East where we were sampling things like duduks and nais and what's the other ones? Uds.
So you had to learn about these, or as you go through, I suppose, in your years of Yamaha, you've found these other markets that have instruments.
Yeah, but we also have specialists in each region. Yeah. So I don't have to specialize in every single instrument that's on the planet. We have different specialists. So we have guys who really understand the African instruments and markets, and even Africa is so vast that you'll have different instruments in different areas. You'll have different, music being played in East Africa than in West Africa and South Africa to North Africa. So it's massive.
And they'd expect that to be offered to them.
Yes. Not necessarily in a product like this. Different products sell at different prices around the world, depending on that particular market. But we need to make sure that those instruments for that market are in those products.
Of course. You talked about Estonia, is it?
Yeah, we took we sampled some strings there. We were talking about the Kino strings.
Yes.
And the Kino strings were sampled in Estonia. We took Estonia Symphony Orchestra in Tallinn. The amazing orchestra. Fraction of the price. If you were doing that in London, of course, that would be viable, I think.
But with that amount of instrument players, that must be still a huge cost.
It's a huge cost, yeah. And, a big orchestral sampling session fidgeting a whole string orchestra, they're talking tens of thousands of pounds, up to 100,000 euros it can be for a really good orchestra. If you've got them there for 2 weeks, you can add it up.
Yes. And we don't think about that. We just think there's a nice trumpet and there's nice strings.
It has to come from somewhere.
Yeah, and the cost of the keyboard isn't actually that much for what it offers you. But when you go into what you've done to produce it, you can see how it's amazing value for money, that you're playing the orchestra that you said to sampling, or the trumpet player or whatever that you've got sampled, and we're using that at the touch of our fingers now, aren't we?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So, you know, if I just take some movie sounds here, I mean, yeah, these halls, you know. That was in Sofia, Bulgaria. Bulgaria Symphony Orchestra. The Sofia brass with the Tallinn strings, why not? Because we do the work.
It's a huge sound.
It's a massive sound.
It's
But you know, we're going all over the world to get the best sounds.
Yeah.
We had, I think it was called Seattle strings.
Yes.
So we can't make any secret of where we got those from. But that was quite a while ago, Seattle Symphony Orchestra. That was more of a classical approach. Yeah. The Kino strings are more of a movie string approach. So we actually, the way the strings are actually positioned. So in the Seattle strings, it's very, very traditional. With the basses, let me get this right, with the violins over on the left, the basses over on the right, whilst with the Kino strings, we've got the violins heavy left and right, basses and cellos in the middle.
You've really had to go into it so deeply to get it how we want to hear it then, haven't you?
Well, a lot of thought goes in it, a lot of planning. I mean, when you're spending lots of money in development, you don't want to waste much.
Yes.
So we need to really make sure that what we're doing, we get it first time.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. So the style section, the drums, they're now sampled in a different
Everything is, yeah. Well, the drums sampling, again, we go to different studios to get different drums. So, for example, the pop drums we sampled at Real World Studios, which is Peter Gabriel, down near Bath in the UK. The dirty drums were sampled in Liechtenstein, in a little studio there, which just had the right kind of reflections for what we wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we do that with 4 channels, which means we have close-up mics, and then we have very distant mics. And now with the ab link of the controller, you can actually determine how far away you are from the drum kit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you want the drum kit to sound a little bit more splashy with reverb and kind of a room sound, you just take the mix further away.
And that's something that you can do.
You can drive straight from the panel. So if I just take a style here, what we got here? Let's take Panaki's guitar pop. So that's with full reflections in the room. And that's full. Dry signal.
Yeah.
And it's not done by DSP, that's actual recording.
I've not used that at all, but that sounds back.
It's really good because it's another dimension for the star player. So you can, especially with the big band stuff, you can imagine, you can have the drummer either sitting really close, or you can get that kind of more vintage big band sound with the drummers kind of more in the room rather than in direct.
Yeah. And is it right, the drums have been sampled so many times that they play differently sometimes?
Yeah, well, we have wave cycling or round robin.
What does that mean? How this lot?
It means that every time you hit the snare, for example, I'm taking the snare,
Yeah.
every time it's a different sample. So not only do we have like maybe 20 layers, but every time you hit the same layer, you've got 4 or 5 variations of that same layer, which means that every time you hit the drum, it's just slightly different. It's not necessarily audible, but it's enough to make it sound real as opposed to like a drum machine.
Yeah, it's better. So you obviously, you make the sounds, and now you're using the sounds in the styles section.
Yeah, all of the sounds are using the styles. So the styles are they're just tapping into whatever's available.
And that didn't used to happen, did it?
Well, as far as I know, the styles, as long as I've been making portable keyboards, we've always used the sounds in the right hand for the styles. The last time that didn't happen was on an organ.
Oh, okay.
The organ had its own tone generator just for the styles, and a different tone generator for the voices.
Okay.
But no, we use the same tone generator for everything. And it also makes it, it blends everything perfectly together. So when you hear a piano in the style, it's a CFX or a character brand. It's not some cheap piano that we just put there for the styles. It's the same.
It's accurate.
And all the DSP, all the reverb, everything. In fact, the reverb is an important thing. If your customers don't know this or may haven't realised, the reverb is what sets up the reverb. The style is what sets up the reverb, not the voice. So you choose a style. If it's a rock and roll style, you're going to get kind of short room sound, and of course all the sounds that you're playing will then feel drier. If you go for an ethereal movie or something like that, you're going to get a really long reverb, and you can hear that immediately with the sounds.
Oh, you got it.
So sometimes you'll be playing and think, oh, the piano seems dry. It's probably because you've got a style which is, more rock and roll or rock based, which needs a shorter reverb.
Yes. Can you show us some of your favourite styles that you're quite proud of?
Oh, you know what? How long's a piece of string? Because honestly, I like things in one of my favourites. You know what? Because of the FM, because we brought FM back in.
This is from the DX days.
Yeah, and I actually really love that. I
think you explain what that means? Frequency modulation?
Yes, it is. It's frequency modulation. And it's all to do with operators. So you've got different algorithms. And, I'm not an FM synth engineer here. We've got FM synth engineers who work in the team. Yeah. But it's not recorded. It's just made from synthesis.
Okay.
So it's
waveforms and things.
Yeah. It's just Okay. It's exactly what it is. There aren't different layers of dynamics. It's just one thing, which is being controlled by filters and such thing. But it's a great sound. It's a very fresh sound. Piano is a lead there, from done by ePianos. Simple styles. So my favourite are the ones that just give you a solid groove and that you can play to. I don't like overcomplicated styles with lots of tootles and flutels in the way, because that just gets in my way. So I like the ones that just give you a solid groove, whether it's a swing, a 8-beat or whatever, and then you can drive it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Can you show us some of the articulation effects that you've got on some of the voices that make them come to life?
Yeah, sure. Oh, here we go. It's right in front of me. I'm sitting there, can't find it, and it's right in front of me, alto sax. So I was just thinking, this is a great style. So yeah, it's really musical because it's joining every note.
Yes.
So even you don't notice it, even like the semitones and tones, everything is a separate sample. So that's why there's no attack on the sound unless you actually re-trigger it.
Yes.
And then, of course, with octaves or major sevenths, you're going to get the slide. So, of course, you can make it sound ridiculous. And then, of course, you have the buttons to add. I also like the fact that after a time, well, it depends on which sound. So different things happen with different sounds. So, for example, do a little flick,
Really, really.
which actually happens. I mean, that's what brings it to life, I think, is to have all those different articulations.
And the buttons, you can force those, can't you?
Yes. You can have a bend. And also, if you press the button whilst you're holding it, you'll get a tail. That was for the inhale. So 2 bends up, short, long. But again, you'll have to choose because different voices do different things.
Yes. Yes.
So if I take, for example, so typical Celtic sound, but yeah, and also the vibrato is modelled. It's not just LFO, it's actually a modelled vibrato based on the real recording, but you can control it. So that actually is the real vibrato from the Celtic flautist.
So it's all just an effect you've stuck on at the end.
No, it's not. So it's actually modelled so you can control it, how much and when.
Yeah.
That's why it sounds so real.
Yeah, it does, absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, but it's great fun. And we've really gone for some kind of more ethnic characters this time with dudukes and shakuhachis and the kind of Irish flutes.
Yeah.
Because I think, you hear a lot of those sounds in movie scores. So even though we might not be familiar with the names of these instruments, they're definitely sounds that we've all heard.
Absolutely, yeah.
In, just watching even a James Bond movie, you'll hear these things.
Yes. Could you show us the ensemble feature?
Sure.
Can you explain what it does for us? Because it's got a special feature, isn't it?
Yeah, with the ensemble feature, it's basically what's happening is it's using all 4 sections. So you just choose a patch or a preset, and it will set up all the sounds that you need. So if it's a string ensemble, let me just have a look here. If I just take string quartet, I guess so, you'll be able to play 4 notes. So if I play 1 note, they're all played. As soon as I play 4 notes.
So it's tracking it, isn't it?
Yes, so if I go to there we go. And there you can see the how it's split up. Violin, what we got here is violin 1, 2, viola and cello.
So if you do the middle note, that will change on one instrument. So powerful.
Handle. But yeah, so it's an amazing sound.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant because you can also use it with harmony. So I'm actually playing the 4 notes there,
Yes.
but you can use the harmony feature to do that. So you can use a style, play 1 note, and it will automatically give you the violin 1, 2, viola and cello.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, and that's very clear. If I go to, for example, let's go to a saxophone section. What have we got here? Ballroom saxes, big band saxes, sax section. Well, you can choose whichever one. Let's Let's choose a swing style. I think sax is a swing work well. Let me just take something like